Hello and welcome to our tutorial video on template management. In our previous tutorials, we had a run through on how to create your first app and get acquainted with the features of IoT Connect. We had a short discussion on template management which we will be elaborating in this video. To refresh your memory, let's get a brief on what exactly template means in IoT Connect. A predefined structure is required to manage devices and their associated properties. This structure helps you in provisioning your IoT system to take care of the entire device management system with seamless data flow. IoT Connect's template feature allows you to add and manage devices, define associated data captured by the device in the form of attributes, and set commands to allocate actions you want your device to perform. Now that we have a brief understanding on templates, let's dive into the actual working of the module. You can access template from Devices tab. This allows you to create, edit, and view templates. We'll start with creating template. By clicking on the Create Template button, you will be navigated to the following page where you have to enter some mandatory details such as template code, template name, and key. For demo purpose, let's take an example of temperature template. We'll enter the template code as temp test and name it temperature. If you wish to add the hardware version, you can. For now, we will skip this. Now for the authentication, we have the following type for securing your device: key, self-sign, CA sign, and TPM. Key-based device authentication is one of the simple ways to authenticate any IoT device with SAS token. A CA certificate is a digital certificate issued by a certificate authority. Self-sign certificate, on the other hand, is created by users themselves. For self-sign and CA sign certificate, you need to upload a certificate from the certificate module. We recommend to use CA sign during production environment, and for development environment, you can use self-sign. Trusted Platform module is a hardware security module that stores cryptographic keys for authentication purpose. As for now, we would keep the authentication as key. There are three types of devices that you can create a template for: edge devices, gateway devices, and smart devices. With smart devices, you can directly connect with IoT Connect and perform analytics in the cloud. When devices do not have the capability to connect to an IoT platform on their own, IoT gateways help them to intersect and connect with the network, cloud, or data center. These gateways can either be dedicated hardware or software programs. And for edge devices, you can connect your devices and perform analytics closer to your application and data sources. Firstly, for this example, we will not select any of the options. Hence, by default, the system will assume it to be a smart device. With this, we have created a template for temperature sensor. Now let's dive into attributes for smart device. Attributes allow you to enter details about the data that will be captured by the assigned device in the form of name, data type, and unit. Continuing the previous example, we'll mention the name here as temperature. Data will be captured in numeric format, so the data type will be number. With the description tab, you can add details about the attribute. Data validation can be used when you want to specify the range or set of data that you want to capture, like 1, 2, 3, or red, green, blue, separated by a comma, or giving a range as 10 to 20. As for unit, considering an example, we can mention Fahrenheit to measure temperature. However, description, data validation, and unit are non-mandatory fields, but you can mention those for your record. Now, moving forward to twin property for smart device. This function allows you to set your device to its default settings. The details of the settings can be mentioned in this segment by entering values for property, key, data type, default value, and data validation. Here, the property name is used for reference purpose. Key is associated with the device that we want to set the twin property for. Data type can either be string or number. We then have to set a default value that we want our device to receive and load whenever twin property is triggered. Moving to the Commands tab. Command name is for your reference. Command can be a string or number or a combination of both that indicates what are you expecting the device to do when the command is fired. If the command requires certain parameters, then you need to turn on the key. Similarly, if you require a receipt or notification when the command is fired, you need to turn on that key too. Also, if the command is fired over the air, you need to turn on the last key mentioned here. Finally, as we click on Save, the template for temperature sensor is created. You can see it on the list here. To explain gateway devices, let's see an example of luminosity sensor. As we did previously, we will enter the template details as light temp. Certification again will be key. While selecting gateway, you'll need to enter a tag associated with the device to differentiate parent device from the subordinate ones. For this example, let's select gateway device and enter a relevant tag. After saving the template details, we'll move on with entering details for attributes. Here too, like the previous example, we'll enter the necessary details. The only difference is that we will need to select the parent tag that we mentioned earlier. Twin property segment remains the same. For command segment, you'll need to mention the tag. Rest will remain as is. As you can see, the template has been added in the list. Now, let's create a template for edge device. Let's quickly enter the details of the template that we are creating. Here, we are taking an example of a humidity sensor. Just as we hit save, you'd see a note just above attribute segment asking to input at least one attribute that has data type as number. We'll enter the details and select the data type here as number. Few changes that you might notice here is that there are several other fields like aggregate and tumbling window. Aggregate option allows you to get data with either of the mentioned parameters like latest value captured or the minimum or maximum value. Tumbling window indicates the interval at which you want to capture the data. For example, it can be 5 minutes to 1 hour. The rest, that is twin property and commands, will be same as previously explained. We will now move on with creating a template for devices that are multidimensional. For example, a gyroscope used to measure angular velocity. Here too, like edge devices, the only change will be in the attribute segment. We'll now enter the details for attributes. For gyroscope, the data will be object as it has multiple units to capture. As you see on the screen, we'll have to fill details about all the related fields. For key, you need to enter the parameter related to the device. As for our example, we will enter the axis X, Y and Z. These will be displayed below in a tabular format. You can edit and delete them when required. Description, unit and data validation again are non-mandatory fields. Lastly, you might have noticed the Quick Add button on the top right corner of the page. If you are versed in JSON, you can quickly create templates with the code displayed in the pop-up window. This will eliminate the use of separate tabs to enter the details of your template. We hope you are ready to start creating templates for your devices after going through this video. If you want any further information, you can visit user guides in IoT Connect knowledge base. Thank you.